back, football fans, to Week 7 of Prospect Football Weekly. I'm your host, Jack Ankeny, again joined by Coach Sebastian. Thanks for coming.
Jack, how are we doing today?
Good.
Good.
So, against Rolling Meadows, there were really a lot of crazy plays that happened between kick return, block punt, fumble recovery, plays like that. What was the impact of these plays, or what was your takeaways after those?
Well, I think the kickoff return early in the game was, important for us. It's one of those situations where it kind of got momentum back to where we needed to be. And I think that was important, obviously, at this point. The fumble recovery that Michael had, it was a huge play in the game. We're down 21-10. They're moving the ball a little bit, and that gets the game back into reach. The double reverse pass, flea flicker, whatever you want to call what we did at that point, was a huge one because it's obviously something that's out of character for us. I think, it forces people to have to adjust, to some different things that we do, but at the same time, it got us the lead, got us some momentum in terms of that aspect. We're sitting there 24-21 with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Unfortunately, we just weren't able to sustain that. And the fumble recovery that they have right at the beginning of the fourth quarter, where they force the fumble on our offense and they have the ball at the 10-yard line. That's the biggest play of the game at that point. It's still a 4-point game. Next thing you know, it's 11, and now we're chasing.
Okay. What kind of fight did you see from the team, especially maybe on the offense and defensive line when they were going up against probably much bigger guys?
I thought our kids did a nice job. We were obviously down some people. We lost 2 offensive linemen from the Buffalo Grove game, so Caleb Smith is now starting. He's another sophomore, so we're starting 2 sophomores on the offensive line. We were down a defensive lineman this week. The nice thing is Ryan will be back this week on our defensive line, so we were playing a little shorthanded there. So I thought the kids did a nice job of continuing to battle, even though they were obviously a little bit smaller. But that's kind of our condition every week. We understand kind of what we are. So I was happy with how they continue to play and their effort. We just have to obviously get a little bit better with our execution as we go here.
Okay. What do you think the team could have done differently in the fourth quarter to hang with them throughout the whole game?
There's not a lot, I think, defensively. It's 28-24, and we put the ball on our own 10-yard line and give the defense, a short field they have to play with. They stopped Meadows on the second series. They had the ball and got us the ball back at their 30-yard line. And then they hit an 85-yard touchdown pass over the top of us. I mean, we got to understand down the distance a little bit better there at that point, and give them credit for executing. I don't think our defense could have done much differently other than obviously maybe, that one play. Offensively, we've just got to find a way to gain some yardage in that series, and we of plays that we had in the fourth quarter, and we didn't. I think that again comes back to we've got to be better at executing in terms of what we're doing during the week. I think at that point you saw a little bit of our inexperience show up. I mean, we started 5 sophomores on the offense alone in this game, so sometimes that pops up. I do like that they continue to battle throughout it. I think we've continued to do that as the year's gone on. I think there's a lot to build on with this team. It's just continuing to, go back to the process and trust in the process of what we're doing.
Okay. So the 24 points the team put up was the most in recent weeks. What does that say about the growth of this team?
Well, you saw that we did it in different phases. I mean, our special teams put 10 points on the board. Our offense put 7. Our defense put 7. So I think, we're starting to finally see a little bit of complete effort and a complete team effort in terms of what we're doing to try to get ourselves in scoring position. So I think that says a lot about how they've progressed in that manner.
Okay. So Rolling Meadows had a lot of dynamic weapons kind of on their offense, multiple guys contributing. What made it so difficult to stop that offense?
I think we just we did a decent job at points. I think there were some big plays that they hit that made that difficult. I think they caught us in a couple different things. They executed their game plan when they needed to correctly. I think that was really maybe the bigger aspect of what was going on there at that point.
Okay. What players do you think stepped up for injured players last week against Rolling Meadows?
I think, we were fortunate Caleb Smith stepped in. to play the tackle. He's a sophomore. We had to play Adam Ryerson, who's a sophomore. And really is our sophomore quarterback at receiver this week because we were short receivers. Zach Zai stepped in at the safety at this point. He's another sophomore. So we've had some kids kind of, step into the forefront of what we need them to do. It's good to see that there's a little bit of depth within the program at that point, and they continue to, execute and get better. We're going to get Ryan Cooch back this week. We're going to get a chance to, hopefully have Nick Regalo, who, I know was on the show later, continue to maybe play a little bit more receiver this week, depending on, what his hand situation's at. He's been playing it at times, but obviously without, with a big cast, it's kind of hard to catch with one hand. He's done a pretty good job of it. So hopefully we'll be able to get a couple more kids back this week to help us as we go forward.
Okay, thank you, Coach Sebastian. And next up, we'll talk with senior Nick Regalo.
Welcome back to Prospect Football Weekly, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings of Mount Prospect. I'm here with wide receiver Nick Regalo. Nick, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
How would you describe your role in the team, both offensively and defensively?
I say offensively, I've become kind of more of a player coach, helping out with the receivers because this has become a hindrance to my performance on the field, considering it's kind of hard to catch the ball.
What challenges have you had to face this season in terms of playing with that cast on your arm?
Obviously I dropped an interception a few weeks ago and a few missed tackles, but I can't really use it as an excuse for the missed tackles. But and it's kind of taken away from my offensive playing. So, yeah.
When you did break your finger, was there any doubt that you'd be able to play?
I'm gonna go with no because it's a pinky, so I wasn't gonna miss games in my senior season just because of a pinky.
Yeah. How have you tried to help junior Jack Hasmer and sophomore Zach Zai grow at the safety position?
I just kind of told him to go balls out every play because there's no reason to not do that.
No.
And then I just told him to do it with the coach.
Absolutely. What is the team's mindset heading into their game against Wheeling?
I'm just saying we're just trying to win. We're out of the playoffs right now. It's all about pride right now. Just trying to get a few wins to end the season and go all out.
Absolutely. Nick, thanks for staying on the show, and stay tuned for a special interview with Coach Aldworth.
Thank you.
And welcome back to Prospect Football Weekly, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm here with volleyball coach Mike Aldworth. Welcome.
Thank you, Wyatt.
What is the volleyball program doing this year to promote Volley for the Cure?
You probably have seen in the halls we have a lot of posters up. We've been selling T-shirts now. This is the second week for selling T-shirts. Getting information out there in social media and stuff like that. Just knowing how good of a cause it is to support. Not only breast cancer awareness, but also what we're doing with the T-shirts is the money that is raised. Half of the $10 goes to stay in our local community here for Northwest Community Hospital to pay for women and men who can't afford mammograms.
Are there any differences this year from years past?
It's changed a little bit. Volley for the Cure started in 2008 as actually an initiative through the IHSA. Started with our volleyball program first, and then after that we went to, it switched over to Unite for a Cure, where we tried to have the underground involved and we did a football game. But I think the administration maybe realized, well, it's kind of always been a volleyball thing. So this year we have it back and we're really excited, and I know everybody's been really supportive in the whole school about it.
How much money does the program hope to raise to donate for breast cancer awareness?
Well, we're hoping to raise somewhere in the area of about $6,000. We have 1,200 shirts, and 1,200 times $5 is $6,000. So anything above that is really gravy and really would help us out. I know we still have about 150 shirts or so to sell. Probably get a lot of those sold actually the night of, some parents coming in and stuff like that. We accept some donations. We also have some raffle prizes the day of. So really it's all about the money that goes to help our neighborhood.
What do you expect from the Volley from the Cure game itself?
Okay. It's always a tough matchup because there's kind of an added pressure. Right now we're in like our second round where we have already seen all the teams and we're playing again. We're playing Hersey, who is the perennial powerhouse in the MSL. And the nice thing though is sometimes for these bigger games, your team really rises to the occasion. I love it because it is just a different setup that day. Everybody's excited. Everybody's wearing pink. We got pink socks. There's a lot of hoopla involved, and I think it's really neat because it gives the girls a chance to play on a bigger scale that they don't always get a chance to see.
How does the fundraiser give the players extra motivation for the rest of the year?
I think it's really important, and I think our school, a lot of different programs do something along these lines of showing that Prospect needs to give back. We give back to the community. This community has done so much, giving us, support, parents throughout the years, and all that sort of stuff. I think it's really, really great to see. Let's get out there and do something for them too.
Thank you, Coach. And stay tuned for Week 7 preview with Jack Ankeny and Coach Mike Sebastian.
Welcome back to Week 7 of Prospect Football Weekly, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings and Mount Prospect. Coach Sebastian is back to preview the Week 7 matchup against Wheeling. Thanks for coming back, Coach.
No problem.
So what sticks out to you most about your Week 7 matchup against Wheeling?
Well, I think you have two teams that are obviously trying to kind of find themselves here in the last third of the season. I think they're understanding at this point that there's opportunities for both of us to be successful. So you're going to see, I think, a very hard-fought game by both teams. Teams are trying to obviously grow at this point, get better as they try to finish off campaigns. So I think we're both young, we're both struggling a little bit, and hopefully we'll continue to on both sides build a little bit with this game.
Okay. So last year Wheeling had TJ Best. This year they have his younger brother Michael Best at quarterback. How's the team game planning against him this week?
I think we just game plan their offense. You don't worry about one individual person. You worry about one individual person. The other 5 or 6 that are out there are going to hurt you. So they run a triple option offense. It's something that our kids are somewhat familiar with, considering last year we ran a split back veer. So the concepts they've seen, he does a nice job of reading the offense and being able to understand what he's trying to do. So I think at this point it's just continuing to kind of understand our responsibilities within our scheme and take advantage of those opportunities that we have defensively to be downhill and attacking in what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 sophomores, Adam Ryerson and Zach Zeiss, have stepped up recent weeks at receiver and safety. What kind of impact have they had on the team recently?
Well, I think Zach's been someone who's been playing for a while now, just in different spots. He played a little bit of quarterback. He started at safety. He's been playing safety for a while now in spots. He's been long snapping for a while, actually, for us. He's continued to get better. Zach's going to be a pretty good football player, I think, as his experience continues here. Adam, I give Adam a lot of credit. He's a very hard-nosed, working kid. He didn't play receiver for us until about middle of Wednesday. So, it was kind of like, okay, let's, Adam, can you catch the ball? All right, you're welcome. You're playing receiver. It's one of those scenarios where I think you got to admire the kid's toughness and his willingness to do whatever's necessary to help the team. I thought he did a nice job blocking that game to get a lot of targets. He almost had one really nice catch on a great adjustment by him to understand that his quarterback was scrambling and start playing a little scramble drill and get himself open. I think playing quarterback helps him start to understand a little bit what Jimmy's trying to see. Look, we've played 7 or 8 different sophomores this year, and they've all done, I think, a pretty nice job of learning to develop and grow. We are starting to see some of that youth that we've had to, play with this year, starting to grow, develop, and get better, both within our sophomore and our junior classes. I think that is partially because of what our seniors have done to try to guide them. Nick has done a great job with the receivers. Guys like Yash Takar and Anthony Burkhardt have tried to help our DBs. Brennan Keene, obviously, both with our offensive line and our linebacking crew. I think these kids have done a very nice job of trying to bring these young guys along to help them. And also, they understand a larger picture of our program in the future, trying to help set up the future, knowing that any success we have down the road is going to be because of the types of things that they did in guiding this team to get better.
Okay. So after scoring in some pretty unconventional ways last week, what are you hoping to see from the offense this week?
This week we are going to line up in polecat, and we're going to throw the ball out to both outside receivers with the linemen in front of them. We are going to get into the old A11 offense, which is now illegal, but we're not going to tell anybody. We are going to run the fumble rooski so that our guard can pick up the ball and score. We're going to run a flea flicker with our handing the ball off to our tailback. He's going to flip it back to our quarterback, and he's going to throw it deep. We're actually going to have it add another piece to the reverse and then flip it back to the quarterback and throw the ball. I will have the full circus working at this point. Obviously, there's some good things that we're doing on offense. There's some things we're struggling with. We're hoping to get back to some basics in terms of what we're trying to do efficiently with our run game. We're trying to really help our pass protection, because one of the things right now that we've struggled to do is get some time for our passing game. And then executing our passing game, what we're trying to do throwing wise. And our student body started chanting "throw the ball" last week, and I wanted to turn around and go, "We're trying." Part of it's now become a situation where, we're getting so rushed in what we're trying to do. When we call some of our pass plays, we've got to settle ourselves down on the line at the quarterback in our pass protection with our running backs. So we're trying to do some things this week to help with our protection a little bit, to give Jimmy that time to be able to throw the ball. He's continued to get better. He's continued to improve in terms of what he's doing. He runs hard, which I think is great. That's a great throw he makes. Because sometimes, in a situation like that where you have a guy wide open, you might tend to overthrow the thing. And he put the ball on him, let him go catch the ball, and Matt Neal made a great play. And obviously that led to a nice score. So, we might have some surprises, but, realistically, we've got to be very basic in what we're trying to do in terms of our process going forward.
Okay. What has been the main emphasis at practice this week in anticipation for Wheeling?
Well, again, we're only about a day in here at this point as of this taping. So, I think it's just been focusing on getting back to little things, being very detail-oriented, and the process of what we're trying to accomplish at this point. I've been happy with the way the kids focused in to understand what we're trying to do schematically this week. So there's some really good signs there. I think defensively the kids are very aggressive in what they're trying to do, and they understand kind of what they're trying to accomplish. So, hopefully we can continue to execute that as we go forward.
Okay. What will be key to execute both offensively, defensively, and in special teams in order to beat Wheeling?
I think having a good practice week again. We continue to need to have solid weeks. We are, nothing changes for us in terms of what we're doing. Our record, whatever it is what it is. We're trying to continue to understand that there's a larger process to what we're doing, how you do things, especially when, times are tough. Tell a lot about your character as a team, but as individuals. So we're trying to focus on developing ourselves as we go forward here.
Okay, thank you, Coach Sebastian, and that should do it for Week 7 of Prospect Football Weekly. We'll see you next week.